Edgar Cayce once whispered through a trance. Some souls cling to the earth not because they are lost, but because they are unfinished. Have you ever felt a presence unseen yet heavy with longing, a chill in a room that logic cannot explain? Across time, humanity has sensed these lingering souls, those who refuse to cross to the other side. Edgar Cayce. The sleeping prophet saw them in his visions, spirits bound by unresolved pain, unspoken love, or a purpose they cannot release. But why do they stay? And what does their refusal teach the living about our own soul's journey? Cayce's readings reveal a truth both haunting and profound. Death is not an end, but a doorway. Yet some souls stand at that threshold unable to step through. They are not trapped by chains, but by memories, grief for a child left behind, a promise unkept, or a wound they cannot forgive. In 1938, Cayce spoke of a woman's spirit who lingered in her home, watching her family unable to leave until her son forgave himself for her death. Such souls, Cayce said, are not ghosts to fear, but mirrors of our own unfinished stories. Consider this: what if these souls reflect the parts of you that resist moving forward? The regrets you carry, the loves you cannot release. Cayce taught that the soul is eternal, yet its journey is shaped by choice. A soul that lingers chooses to stay just as you choose to hold on to pain or purpose in this life. These souls call to us whispering through dreams, intuition, or that unshakable feeling of being watched. They ask for help not to be banished, but to be seen. If this stirs a memory you didn't know you carried, you're not alone. Subscribe to this channel not just for content, but for clarity. The life of man is of no greater duration than the breath of his nostrils. Plato. In a 2023 Pew Research Center survey, 59% of Americans reported experiencing an unexplained presence or spiritual encounter, suggesting a widespread connection to the unseen. Pew Research Center 2023. What does it feel like to be stuck not just in life, but between worlds? Imagine a soul weightless yet burdened, watching the living move through time while they remain frozen in a moment of pain. Now ask yourself, have you ever felt frozen in your own life? A grief that won't lift, a regret that replays in your mind, or a longing for something you cannot name. This is the emotional weight Cayce saw in lingering souls, and it's a weight you may recognize in yourself. These souls stay for reasons that echo our own struggles. Some are bound by love, a mother who cannot leave her grieving child, a lover waiting for a partner to heal. Others are tethered by guilt, like the soldier Cayce described in a 1942 reading, who haunted a battlefield, reliving his failure to save his comrades. Then there are those gripped by fear of judgment, of the unknown, or of losing who they were. These are not just their stories, they are ours. The mother's love mirrors your sacrifice. The soldier's guilt reflects your self-blame. The fear of the unknown lives in your hesitation to change. Psychologically, this is soul detachment, not from the body, but from purpose. Carl Jung called it the shadow, the unhealed parts of us that linger in the dark. For the living, it's the depression that feels like a stranger in your skin, the anxiety that whispers you're not enough. For the dead, it's the refusal to cross over a shadow that cannot let go. But what if this refusal is not weakness, but a cry for meaning? What if your own pain is not a breakdown, but your soul breaking through? Cayce's readings offer a way to help these souls and ourselves. To free a lingering spirit, you must first see their pain. Speak to them not with fear, but with compassion. Acknowledge their love, their guilt, their fear. In a 1936 reading, Cayce advised a family to pray for a spirit in their home, not to cast it out, but to guide it toward peace. Prayer, he said, is not just words. It's a vibration of love that reaches across worlds. For the living, this means facing your own shadows. What pain do you need to name? What love do you need to release? This isn't about exorcism. It's about empathy. A soul that lingers is a soul that feels unseen. And isn't that what you fear too, being unseen, unheard, unwhole? By helping a soul cross over, you learn to help yourself move forward. Your comments aren't just feedback, they're echoes from other souls. Leave yours below. Someone else may need it more than you know. We are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. Pierre Teilhard de Chardin. According to the National Institute of Mental Health, 21% of U.S. adults experienced a mental health disorder in 2023, often tied to unresolved grief or trauma. NIMH 2023. Why does a soul's refusal to cross over matter to your own existence? Carl Jung believed the soul is not confined to one lifetime. It carries the weight of all it has been and all it hopes to become. A lingering soul, then, is not just stuck. It's a fragment of eternity wrestling with its own meaning. What might this reveal about your own search for purpose? Viktor Frankl, the psychiatrist who survived the Holocaust, wrote that suffering ceases to be suffering when it finds meaning. For a soul that lingers, the suffering is not death, but the absence of resolution. They stay because their story feels incomplete. This is not just their truth, it's yours. How many times have you felt your life lacked meaning, not because of what happened, but because you couldn't understand why? Eastern philosophy offers another layer. In Buddhism, attachment is the root of suffering. A soul that clings to the earth is attached to love, guilt, or identity. The Bhagavad Gita teaches that the soul must detach to merge with the divine. But detachment is not abandonment. It's surrender to a greater whole. For the living, this means letting go of the stories that define you: victim, failure, savior. What story are you clinging to that keeps you from crossing into your own awakening? Cayce's visions align with these timeless truths. He saw the soul as a spark of the divine, eternally seeking oneness with its source. A lingering soul is not punished. It's learning just as you are. To help them, you must embody the wisdom they seek. Speak to their fear with courage, their guilt with forgiveness, their love with gratitude. This act of guidance is not just for them, it's for you. By helping a soul find peace, you reclaim a piece of your own. Alan Watts once said that life is a dance, not a destination. A soul that lingers has forgotten the steps. Your role is to remind them and yourself that the dance continues beyond this world. We explore soul truths others fear to say out loud. If you're ready to remember, click subscribe. Your path is just beginning. The wound is the place where the light enters you. Rumi. 24 Gallup poll found that 71% of Americans believe in an afterlife, reflecting a deep cultural curiosity about the soul's journey. Gallup 2024. So, what if you're not lost? What if your pain, your questions, your longing are simply your soul remembering its contract? Edgar Cayce taught that every soul enters this world with a purpose, not to suffer, but to grow. A lingering soul reminds us that growth doesn't end with death. Their refusal to cross over is a call to the living: prepare your soul now. To help a soul cross over, start with love. Speak their name, honor their story, and pray for their peace. But don't stop there. Look within. What unresolved pain do you carry? What forgiveness do you withhold? Cayce's readings urge us to live with intention, to heal now so we don't linger later. This is not about fear, it's about freedom. What would it feel like to release one weight today, to forgive one wound, to speak one truth? This is the soul's awakening, not a destination, but a return to what you've always known. You are not here to be perfect. You are here to be whole. And in helping a soul find its way, you find yours. This isn't just a channel. It's a return. Welcome back to what you always knew. If this felt like a moment of realignment, share it with someone else who's ready to remember. The soul is healed by being with children. Fyodor Dostoevsky. In 2023, the American Psychological Association reported that 68% of therapy clients sought help for grief or existential concerns, highlighting a collective need for soul-level healing. APA 2023.